What happens when the world's richest man accuses the president of something so serious it could end careers? Welcome back to Cultural Feed Podcast. Quick hit news, let's dive in. On June 6th, 2025, Elon Musk crossed a line that even seasoned political observers didn't see coming. Yeah, his latest statement wasn't just another Twitter feud. It was an insinuation so damaging that it's already affecting markets and could reshape the entire 2025 election cycle. You might think you know how brutal these two can get, but what Musk said this time goes beyond anything we've witnessed before. The question isn't whether this will have consequences, it's how far the fallout will reach. You might think these two have always been enemies, but that's not the whole story. While Musk did not support Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, in fact, he publicly backed Hillary Clinton and criticized Trump as not the right man for the job. He did agree to serve on Trump's business advisory councils after the election. Musk joined these councils in hopes of influencing policy on issues like climate change and technology, but he resigned in 2017 after Trump decided to pull the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement. That was just the beginning of a slow-burning conflict that would eventually explode. The real tension started building around specific policy disagreements that hit Musk's businesses directly. Trump's trade policies with China created headaches for Tesla's supply chain. His administration's approach to electric vehicle subsidies threatened Tesla's competitive advantage. Meanwhile, Trump kept pushing for more traditional energy projects while Musk was trying to revolutionize clean energy. These weren't just political differences, they were business conflicts that cost both men real money. Their previous public spats were just warm-ups compared to what happened on June 6th. We saw exchanges about Twitter content moderation, disagreements over space policy, and arguments about government contracts. Each incident escalated the tension, but they still maintained some level of professional courtesy. That changed when Tesla's government contracts and SpaceX's NASA partnerships created a powder keg situation. Here's where things get interesting. Tesla had been negotiating several federal contracts, worth billions of dollars. SpaceX was in the middle of renegotiating its NASA partnerships for future Mars missions. Trump's political allies started questioning whether these contracts should go to someone who publicly opposed the former president. The pressure built up over months of regulatory battles and back-and-forth social media exchanges. Reuters reported that behind-the-scenes communications between their teams had completely broken down by May 2025. Sources close to both camps described the atmosphere as toxic and beyond repair. Industry insiders started seeing warning signs weeks before June 6th. Several tech executives mentioned unusual tension at private events. Political advisors on both sides were reportedly trying to prevent an all-out war. The specific trigger event that pushed Musk over the edge happened on June 5th. Trump made comments at a rally suggesting that Musk's government contracts might need closer examination if he became president again. He specifically mentioned SpaceX's Mars program and questioned whether taxpayer money should fund vanity projects for billionaires. Those comments hit Musk's core business interests and his personal vision for humanity's future. That night, Musk reportedly spent hours crafting his response. Multiple sources suggest he consulted with lawyers and advisors, but ultimately decided to go nuclear. June 6th became the day everything exploded because Musk felt his life's work was under direct attack. What he said next crossed every line and changed the game completely. Here's where things get serious, and potentially career-ending for both men. On June 6th, Musk posted what he called "time to drop the really big bomb" on X. Then made his move. He directly alleged that Trump was in the Epstein files. No evidence, no documentation, just a straight accusation linking Trump to Jeffrey Epstein's investigation records. This wasn't a policy disagreement or a business dispute anymore. This was a personal attack designed to cause maximum damage. You might be wondering why this particular accusation is different from typical political mudslinging. The Epstein files carry weight that other accusations don't. Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender whose case has been the subject of widespread speculation and conspiracy theories for years. When someone mentions these files, they're not just making a political point. They're suggesting involvement in serious criminal activity. that changes everything about how the law views this situation. Legal implications here cross into potentially actionable territory because of how defamation law works for public figures. Trump would need to prove actual malice to win a defamation case, meaning Musk either knew the statement was false or acted with reckless disregard for truth. The complete absence of supporting evidence makes this a textbook case of potential actual malice. Legal experts are already pointing out that Musk's statement meets the criteria for a slam dunk defamation lawsuit. The immediate market reaction tells you everything about how serious this got. Tesla shares closed down over 14% on June 5th. That's a loss of approximately $150 billion in market value. This marked the largest single-day decline in Tesla's history. Truth Social's parent company also dropped 8.04% the same day. When markets move like this over social media posts, you know we're dealing with something bigger than usual political drama. The Wall Street Journal analyzed how similar accusations have destroyed political careers throughout history. Their research shows that unsubstantiated claims about criminal activity typically create permanent damage, regardless of whether they're proven true or false. The accusation itself becomes the story, and the damage spreads faster than any correction or clarification. Musk claimed to have evidence, but provided none. Legal experts say this actually increases his liability, rather than protecting him. Making specific claims about having proof creates an expectation that you can back up your statements when you can't. It demonstrates the reckless disregard that defamation law targets. The 48-hour window after Musk's post created unprecedented tension. Everyone waited for Trump's response while markets continued their downward spiral. Political advisors from both sides reportedly worked around the clock trying to contain the damage. 3 immediate consequences proved this wasn't just another Twitter fight. The market crash, emergency legal consultations on both sides, and the complete breakdown of any remaining professional relationship between their organizations. The real question isn't who's right, it's how this affects your money and retirement plans. The immediate market impacts hit 3 major areas that matter to your portfolio. Tesla shares dropped over 14% on June 5th, wiping out roughly $150 billion in market value. That's the largest single-day decline in Tesla's history. Trump Media and Technology Group also took a hit, closing down 8.04% the same day. When you see moves this big happening this fast, you know we're dealing with something that goes way beyond typical political drama. Here's how this creates uncertainty in 3 key areas that seasoned investors need to watch. First, tech stocks are experiencing sector rotations as investors reassess their positions. Second, political betting markets are shifting the odds for the 2025 election. Third, regulatory policy expectations are changing, which affects everything from energy stocks to government contractors. If you're holding Tesla shares or any Trump-related investments, you need to understand the specific risks you're facing. Tesla's government contracts and subsidies could be at risk if Trump wins in 2025. He's already threatened to terminate Musk's government deals and criticized the EV mandate that benefits Tesla. Trump Media faces its own challenges as the feud could damage Trump's brand and reduce user engagement on Truth Social. This feud could trigger broader regulatory changes that affect your entire portfolio. The conflict highlights how personal relationships between powerful figures can reshape policy decisions. Changes to EV subsidies, space contracts, and tech regulations are all on the table now. These aren't just Tesla and Trump problems. They're market-wide issues that could impact multiple sectors. The polling data shows this impacts 2025 election odds in ways that matter for policy predictions. The public spat could hurt Republican efforts to maintain control of Congress, especially if Musk withdraws his campaign spending or if Silicon Valley support shifts away from Trump. These political changes directly translate into different regulatory approaches that affect your investments. Here's what happens if this escalates further. 3 scenarios are worth watching. Complete breakdown means continued market volatility and regulatory uncertainty. Partial reconciliation could stabilize markets but leave underlying tensions. Full resolution would likely boost both Tesla and Trump media stocks, but seems unlikely given what's already been said. Historical patterns show us how similar feuds play out in markets. The Washington Post analysis notes that prolonged conflicts between influential figures create lasting political and financial risks. Past examples demonstrate that personal attacks between business leaders and political figures typically result in sustained market uncertainty rather than quick resolutions. You need to watch 3 specific indicators to gauge how serious this gets. Market volatility in both Tesla and Trump-related stocks tells you about immediate impact. Polling changes in key swing states show political consequences. Regulatory announcements from government agencies reveal policy shifts that affect your long-term investment strategy. The cause and effect pattern here is clear. Specific actions by powerful people create predictable market reactions that you can prepare for. When influential figures like Musk and Trump clash publicly, markets respond immediately through stock price movements and sector rotations. You can use this framework to analyze similar situations in the future and protect your investments. Here's how to apply this analysis method to other potential conflicts. Monitor social media activity from key business leaders and politicians. Track polling data that shows political shifts. Watch for regulatory announcements that follow public disputes. These indicators help you spot investment risks before they hit your portfolio and position yourself for opportunities that others miss.